Hello, class. For this week's discussion post, we were tasked with coming up with a grant application to be proposed to a specific foundation. When thinking about this idea, I kept getting drawn back to posts on social media that I found bringing attention to continued vandalism at Gettysburg National Military Park. So, within the last year, the battlefield has experienced a significant increase that has been unfortunate to vandalism across the park on monuments, but specifically natural fortifications and other natural rocks and trees that really just show the lack of education and respect to the military park. So I was thinking about creating a grant proposal that would help fund support for preservation, security, and restoration for the vandalized monuments and fortifications at the National Military Park. This grant proposal would also help contribute to educational and outreach efforts to prevent future damage and raise awareness of the park's historical significance. So in order to apply for a grant for this purpose, the foundation I would be submitting the grant to would be the National Park Service through their Historical Preservation Fund competitive grant application process. Looking up through their website, they had a lot of really great information and guidance to what a grant proposal should look like, what examples in the past have been, and how to properly apply for a grant proposal through their program. But looking at their program, the Historical Preservation Fund was established in 1977, and since then has funded over $1.2 billion towards preservation projects. So it is certainly a great fund to send grant applications to. And they're always looking for ways to help preserve these historical places and parks. So after exploring the National Park website Historical Preservation Fund page, they offer a lot of grant opportunities that promote a lot of focus on underrepresented communities and African American civil rights grants, as well as directly addressing funding to battlefield projects. The website broke down a lot of helpful guidance to how one can apply for the grant, as well as providing many examples to helping understand the process and what it takes to apply for and prepare for an effective grant proposal. The best program that would meet the needs of my proposal would be their American Battlefield Protection Program. And again, this page offered a lot of guidance and options to what grant idea you're looking for that would best meet your needs. Through this program, they do have 4 options, and the best option for my grant idea would be their preservation planning grant. And again, the website continues to offer guidance and support on grant ideas, but ultimately all of their applications do go through grants.gov, which is where all of their grants would be submitted and ultimately accepted. So this project that I would propose would be designed as a long-term benefit to the National Military Park. By restoring and protecting the historical resources, the project would ensure the preservation of the park's historical integrity for future generations and the development of a long-term maintenance plan for restored monuments and the implementation, especially when it comes to vandalism, and especially vandalism of non-monuments on the military park. I feel like it just truly stems from a lack of education and respect to the area and other parts of the park that aren't statues and monuments. So a large focus of this grant would be really on the security and the education of understanding that vandalism shouldn't happen anywhere on the park, and understanding the impacts and effects of what vandalism could bring to the history and respect to the park and our past. So in addition, partnerships with local organizations and the continued engagement of the public would help foster that culture of respect that could and should mitigate and decrease vandalism in the park. And the funding from this grant will serve as a foundation for future preservation initiatives which would support through fundraising efforts, donations, and additional grant applications. So my objective and activities of this grant, I have 3 objectives. Those objectives would be the restoration of vandalized monuments firstly, and then the preservation of the natural fortifications and foundations, and then to preventative measures and public educations. Like I said, that would be once the vandalism is corrected and then maintained, the biggest push is to maintain and to increase the education to help mitigate and decrease these type of vandalisms from happening in the future. The activities would consist of assessment and documentation through the first 3 months to assess what is being vandalized, why it's being vandalized, how it's being vandalized, and then monument restorations would be a big bulk, and then the stabilization of that education for the foreseeable future. And then the last part would really be that public engagement and education that would continue to ongo throughout the process of the grant. So that would include launching educational campaigns to raise awareness on the importance of preservation and respect of the military park, developing partnerships with schools, tourism boards, and historical associations and organizations, and then continuing to install interpretive signage, QR codes, a lot of ways that can help bridge the gap with people, especially younger generations that may be susceptible to vandalizing the military park. But that would be my grant proposal for decreasing the vandalism at Gettysburg National Military Park. It was a really neat exploration of a grant proposal, and the National Park Service has a lot of really great information for a lot of different opportunities and options for grant proposals. So I hope you all were able to find a lot of great opportunities for your own grant research, and I hope you have a great week.